I haven't slept properly in weeks. My apartment feels smaller every day. Every corner filled with memories I can't escape. I stare at my phone, scrolling through old messages, but they only make the silence louder. I used to think work could distract me. I was wrong. Ethan. A voice called, pulling me from my thoughts. Noah, my colleague, leaned against my desk. You've been staring at that screen for hours. What's going on with you? I'm fine, I muttered. But even I knew it was a lie. No, you're not. Everyone's talking, he said. Your performance is slipping. You're missing deadlines. You're distant. I just have a lot on my mind, I replied, forcing a shrug. Bullshit, he said sharply. You're living in the past. You need to accept the truth and move on, Ethan. You're punishing yourself for something you can't change. I can't just forget, I said, my voice tight. Not when she's everywhere I look. Everywhere? He asked. Yes, I whispered. Every street, every cafe, every song on the radio. Everything reminds me of her. Noah shook his head. You're letting regret kill you faster than heartbreak ever could. Regret hits harder, because you know you could have done things differently. And maybe you should have. I didn't answer. He was right, and it hurt. I wanted to yell, to scream, to tell him that understanding it didn't make it easier. It made it worse. Later that day, I walked through the city, trying to shake the thoughts, to drown them in the crowd. But then I saw them. Mia, Lucas, walking down the street, hands entwined, laughing softly. She looked peaceful, happy. And he looked at her like she was the only person in the world. I froze, my chest tightening. I wanted to run, to vanish, but I couldn't take my eyes off them. She smiled at something he said, the kind of smile I thought would only ever be for me. Noah's words echoed in my head. You're punishing yourself. And I knew he was right. I was walking punishment. Every step I took, I carried the weight of my own mistakes. I swallowed hard and turned away. I couldn't watch them anymore. Every second was agony. I felt hollow, like a part of me had been ripped out and left on the sidewalk with them. Back at work, my desk felt smaller, suffocating. I typed emails mechanically, my mind elsewhere. My boss called me in. Ethan, we need to talk about your performance, she said. This is a warning. If things don't improve, there will be consequences. Yes, I understand, I said, forcing my voice steady. I nodded and left, but her words echoed in my head. Warning. Everything was warning me. Warning me that I had no control over my life anymore. Later, Noah found me at my desk again. You're punishing yourself, he said softly. And it's not just at work. It's in everything you do. You have to stop obsessing over what you can't change. I can't, I whispered. Not when she's the reason I feel alive and dead at the same time. Not when I see her with him. Then you need a new way to live, he said. Not for her. Not for him. For you. Otherwise, this spiral will swallow you whole. I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell him he didn't understand. But I did. He was right. Every song I hear, every cafe I pass, every street corner, it all leads me back to her. Every memory reminds me that I was too late, that my choices cost me everything I wanted. I walked home that evening and past the park where we used to sit. Empty benches, empty swings. I closed my eyes and imagined her there, laughing at nothing, smiling at me. And then I imagined Lucas beside her. Protective, gentle, consistent, everything I wasn't. I clenched my fists. The pain wasn't just heartbreak. It was shame, guilt, regret. The punishment for my mistakes. I whispered her name into the evening air, hoping it would reach her somehow, even though I knew it wouldn't. This is my life now. A life that feels broken, scattered in pieces across memories I can't reclaim. A life where regret hits harder than heartbreak. And every step forward is a reminder that I lost the only person who truly mattered. I walk on, pretending the city is just another maze, but inside, I know the truth. I am paying for the life I wasted, and every glance at them reminds me. I am nothing without her. I never thought the day I came back home would be the day everything inside me collapsed. My name is Ethan Hale, and for most of my life, I believed time would always wait for me. Or maybe I believed Mia would. I spent years pretending my career mattered more, pretending my silence wasn't hurting her, pretending distance wouldn't break us. I kept telling myself that when I finally returned, she'd be there, smiling the way she used to, calling my name with that soft voice that made me forget everything else. When I stepped out of the car and walked down the familiar street, I actually whispered, "She's going to freak out when she sees me." I even laughed like an idiot. I thought I was coming back to a beginning, not an ending. I pushed open the old cafe door, the same one where Mia and I had shared our first kiss, thinking she might be inside. Instead, I heard her laugh from outside, near the courtyard. My heart jumped. I rushed toward the sound like some desperate fool who believed love stayed frozen in time. "Mia!" I called. She turned, but she didn't smile. She didn't move toward me. She didn't even look shocked. She just stared, almost like she was seeing a ghost she didn't ask to see. "Mia," I said again. "I'm back." Before she could reply, a man stepped beside her. Lucas Grant. Broad shoulders, calm eyes, a presence that didn't need to prove anything. He looked at me like he already knew who I was. Worse, like he already knew what I'd done to her. "You're Ethan," he said. Not a question. A statement. "And you are?" I asked, though I already hated the answer I expected. "Mia's fiancé," he replied. I felt something inside me tear. Fiancé. The word tasted like blood. Mia finally spoke. "Ethan, we weren't sure you'd ever come back. I told you I just needed time," I said quickly. "I told you I was trying to fix things." "You disappeared," she whispered. "You didn't call. You didn't write." "I kept waiting, Ethan. I waited until it hurt too much." Lucas placed a hand gently on her back. Not possessive, supportive, and somehow that made it worse. "Mia," I said, "you're wearing a ring." She didn't answer. She didn't need to. The ring gleamed under the sunlight like it was mocking me. "How long?" I asked, choking on the words. 3 months, she whispered. 3 months. 3 months while I was thousands of miles away pretending everything would stay the same. I ran a hand through my hair. "You moved on that fast." Lucas stepped forward. "Don't talk to her like that. Stay out of this," I snapped. "No," Mia said sharply. "He's not the problem, Ethan. You are." Those words hit harder than any punch. "You said you loved me," I said. "How can you be engaged to someone else?" Mia looked at me with eyes that used to hold so much warmth. Now they held nothing but exhaustion. "I did love you," she said, "but love can't survive in silence. I kept begging you to come back. You kept choosing everything else. I came back now," I argued weakly. Lucas stared at me. Too late. I hated him for saying it, mostly because he was right. "Mia," I said softer now. "If you just give me a chance." "I gave you years," she whispered. "Years, Ethan." She stepped closer, not toward me, but toward Lucas. The small movement sank into my chest like a blade. "Do you love him?" I asked. She froze. That hesitation, just 1 second, destroyed me. "I'm trying," she said finally. "And he's trying too." I swallowed hard. "So that's it? After everything we were? We aren't anything anymore," she said. "We ended long before today." I shook my head. "I never said it was over," You never said anything at all, she replied. Lucas placed an arm around her shoulders. We should go. Mia gave me one last look, soft but final. Goodbye, Ethan. I watched them walk away. My hands shook. My chest felt too tight. For the first time in my life, I understood what real fear was. Fear of losing someone I thought I owned. Fear of realizing I never really deserved her. Fear of knowing I had destroyed something I thought would last forever. I thought she'd wait. I thought she'd always wait. But the ring on her finger told me the truth. She wasn't mine anymore. I stood there after they disappeared, unable to move. The world around me felt strange, as if everything had shifted without warning. I kept whispering her name, hoping she might turn back, but she never did. That silence became the loudest moment of my life. When I saw Mia again the next day, I told myself things couldn't feel worse than yesterday. I was wrong. She looked right through me, like I was a shadow she had already stepped past. Mia, can we talk? I said, walking toward her outside the studio she worked at. She didn't smile. She didn't even fake one. Ethan, I don't think there's anything left to say. There's everything to say, I replied. At least look at me. I am looking, she said, but her eyes drifted over my shoulder. I just don't see what I used to. That hurt more than her ring. Lucas walked up a moment later, soft steps, quiet presence. He didn't interrupt. He just stood beside her like he belonged in that space. My old space. I swallowed hard. I'm not trying to start anything. Lucas nodded. I know. Mia spoke before I could. Ethan, please don't make this harder. I'm not trying to make anything harder, I said. I just want to understand. She sighed. Understand what? How you stopped loving me. Her fingers twitched, but she hit it fast. I didn't stop all at once. It happened after you kept disappearing. That wasn't on purpose. Maybe not, she whispered. But it still hurt. Lucas gently touched her hand, and she let him. I looked away. So I'm the villain now? No one said that, Lucas murmured. You don't have to, I shot back. Mia shook her head. This isn't about villains, Ethan. It's about choices. Mine, yours, and his. I nodded toward Lucas. She stepped back slightly. Lucas didn't replace you. You left space. I hated how true that sounded. I thought you understood why I stepped away. I did understand, she said. Her voice cracked, but she steadied it fast. I just couldn't wait forever. I tried to read her eyes, but they were guarded now. Cold, almost empty. You used to tell me everything, I said quietly. And you used to answer your phone, she replied. That one landed like a punch. Before I could respond, someone spoke behind me. Move! You're blocking the door. I turned. Ava, Mia's best friend. Sharp eyes, crossed arms, expression full of judgment. Ava, I muttered. Nice to see you too. She snorted. Right, because you always cared what I thought. I care now, I said. She stepped closer, face inches from mine. Too late. She cried over you more times than I can count. Ava, Mia whispered. No, Ava snapped. He needs to hear this. You think Heartbreak has a schedule? You think you can vanish for months, then show up and expect everything to be the same. I didn't expect. Yes, you did. Ava cut me off. You thought Mia was some backup save file you could reload whenever life got hard for you. That's not true. She laughed bitterly. Really? How many birthdays did you miss? I froze. Mia lowered her gaze. Ava, stop. No, Ava insisted. He needs to remember. Her 22nd? Gone. 23rd? You sent a 2-line text. 24th? Nothing. My throat tightened. I know. I messed up. Ava folded her arms again. Messed up is stepping on someone's shoe. You broke her. Lucas finally spoke again. Ava, enough. This isn't helping. She rolled her eyes. Maybe not, but it's true. Mia looked at me with that same distant expression. Ethan, I don't want to keep hurting like this. I'm not trying to hurt you, I said. She shook her head. I don't feel anything when I look at you anymore. And that's what scares me. Silence settled between us. I whispered. Do you remember when we used to sit behind the cafe and talk until midnight? Mia blinked slowly. I remember waiting there alone last year because you promised you'd come. I was stuck at work. You were always stuck at work. I thought I was doing it for us, she whispered. Then why did it feel like you were doing it for everyone but me? I stepped closer. Lucas tensed, but I lifted my hands. I'm not here to take you away from him. I'm not here to fight. I just need to know. Did I matter at all? Mia didn't hesitate. You mattered too much, Ava muttered. And that was the problem. I ignored her. Then why does it feel like you don't care now? Because I used up all my caring on someone who wasn't there, Mia said. My chest twisted. You really don't see me anymore? She met my eyes for the first time. I see a memory, not a future. Lucas squeezed her hand. We should get inside. I stared at their hands intertwined. So this is karma, I said softly. A diamond ring for you. A rude awakening for me. Ava nodded. Call it what you want. It fits. I looked at Mia one last time. If something changes. She shook her head. Ethan, don't wait for me the way I waited for you. Those words shattered something inside me. Goodbye, she whispered. I stepped aside and watched her walk past me again. Her fingers still wrapped around Lucas's. She didn't look back. Not even once. I didn't mean to go. The invitation arrived by mistake, but curiosity, or maybe stupidity, pulled me in. Don't go, I whispered to myself in the car, gripping the wheel too tight. But my legs moved on their own. One step, then another. Soon, I was at the entrance, staring at the lights, the laughter, the perfect people all celebrating what I had lost. I pushed the door open. The room buzzed like a hive, every voice stabbing me. Laughter, champagne glasses clinking, people congratulating Lucas. And there she was, Mia, smiling. God, her smile. But her eyes, they weren't full. They were careful, guarded, trying not to crack under the weight of their own joy. Ethan? I heard a soft voice. I turned. Mr. Rivera, her father, extended a hand. Glad you could make it. His smile was warm, but I could tell he had already judged me. Of course, I muttered, shaking it, feeling my own hands clammy. Mrs. Rivera arrived beside him. It's been a while. You look, well, she said, raising an eyebrow, polite but distant. I see Mia is happy. She is, I said quickly. She looks beautiful. My voice cracked before I could stop it. They didn't say more. Lucas stepped forward smoothly, taking Mia's hand. Shall we show our guests around? He asked. I stood to the side, a ghost among the celebration. Every laugh, every toast, every glance toward them felt like knives. I could almost hear the whispers. He's back. Why now? Hey! A familiar voice pulled me out of my spiral. Caleb, my younger brother, his expression half teasing, half serious. What are you doing here? I got invited, I said. My voice sounded weak, even to me. You should have stayed home, he said. Look at her. Look at him. You know you pushed her away, right? This is on you. I know, I muttered. I know. You really do? Caleb asked sharply. Because sitting in the corner, staring at them, isn't going to fix a thing. I just wanted to see her, I whispered, more to myself than him. Yeah, he said, sighing. You wanted to see what you lost. Congratulations. You're winning. I didn't respond. I just watched her across the room, laughing at some joke Lucas made. She tilted her head slightly. Our eyes met for a second. That second killed me. I stepped closer, barely audible. Do you love him? She froze. That pause. God, that pause felt like hours. She didn't answer. Her silence crushed me more than any word ever could. I ask him, she whispered finally, almost to herself. Who? I asked. Lucas, she said, turning her gaze to him, then back to me for a heartbeat. I care about him. But Ethan, you should know it's not about hate. It's not about anger. It's about choices. Choices, I said bitterly. I thought love was enough. It isn't, she replied softly. Sometimes love isn't enough to survive alone. I swallowed. My chest felt tight, my stomach twisting. I looked away and noticed Lucas talking quietly with her parents. The respect he carried obvious in every gesture. Mr. Rivera laughed at something he said. Mrs. Rivera smiled in a way that almost made me nauseous. He was the perfect son-in-law. I was the shadow. Caleb leaned closer again. See? That's what happens when you take people for granted. You lose them to someone who shows up, even when it hurts. I know, I whispered. I know I messed up. You really know, he pressed. Because watching her smile at him, listening to them talk like you never existed, it should teach you something. I've learned, I said quietly. I've learned that I'm too late. Mia glanced toward me again. Her smile softened for a brief moment, but it didn't reach her eyes. She turned back to Lucas and squeezed his hand. I stepped back. Caleb rested a hand on my shoulder. Time to let go, Ethan. You're only hurting yourself by standing here. I nodded, feeling numb. I wanted to speak, to tell her I loved her, to beg her to look at me, to fight. But every word felt useless. The room, the laughter, the ring on her finger, it all told me the same thing. I had lost her. Permanently. I turned toward the exit, hearing Caleb's soft voice behind me. Next time, maybe don't wait until it's too late. I whispered her name as I left. Mia. No answer. Just the echo of my own regret. I found her sitting alone on the park bench, the afternoon sun brushing her hair gold. My stomach twisted. Mia, I said, voice low. We need to talk. She didn't look at me. I don't know if there's anything left to say. Please, I begged. Just sit with me for 5 minutes. I sat beside her, careful not to touch her. Her silence was sharp, but I waited. Finally, she spoke. You really don't know, do you? Know what? I asked. My heart pounded like a drum. Her fingers fiddled with the hem of her sleeve. Everything. About these years. About why I stayed with him. I blinked. Why him? After me? My voice cracked. I thought you'd wait. I did wait, Ethan, she whispered. 3 years. 3 years I waited while you disappeared, chasing your career, ignoring every message, every call. Her eyes met mine for a fraction of a second, and the hurt there punched me harder than any words could. I thought I was doing the right thing, I said, guilt burning in my chest. I thought you'd understand. I thought you'd wait. She shook her head slowly. I tried, Ethan. I really tried. But when you vanish, you leave space. And someone else steps in. That's what Lucas did. He stepped in when I was alone. Her voice was steady, but laced with pain. I swallowed. He was there? She nodded. When my mother got sick. When I lost my job. When I cried myself to sleep. Because you were gone. He stayed. He didn't disappear. He didn't just send words he never meant. He stayed. I felt shame ignite like fire. I can't believe I did that to you. You didn't just do it, she said softly. You lived in your own world. And I had to live in mine. I closed my eyes, trying to breathe. And the ring? I whispered. Tell me. Tell me why I see it, and it feels like a knife. Mia looked down at her hand, fingers curled around the diamond. Because that ring is a promise I make to myself now. I can't live inside your promises anymore. Not when they come after years of silence. I can't keep waiting for someone who only returns when it's convenient. Her words stabbed me. I wanted to shout, to grab her hand, to tell her I'd changed, but every word stuck in my throat. I couldn't undo the past. I couldn't reclaim the years I'd wasted. My pride, my ego, my work, all excuses. All excuses that cost me the one person who mattered. I broke off. My hands trembled. I don't know how to fix this. How to even stand here. You don't, she said quietly. That's the truth. I looked at her, really looked. The strength in her posture, the controlled pain in her eyes. It was beautiful and unbearable. I felt tears sting my own eyes. I loved you, I whispered. I always have. I know, she said. But love isn't enough, Ethan. Not when it comes too late. I shook my head. I thought I could come back and it would be like before. It won't, she said firmly. I can't live waiting for your next disappearance. I can't rely on promises you can't keep. I sank back, overwhelmed. My mind replayed every moment I ignored her messages, every birthday I forgot, every small neglect I justified as temporary. I had thought myself clever, practical, busy. But I had only been absent. And now, I had no right to complain. None. I heard a quiet step behind me. I looked up. Lucas. He stood a few feet away, hands in his pockets, watching. He didn't speak. He didn't move toward me. He just listened, and I saw it in his eyes. Genuine care for her, nothing fake, nothing performative. It made my stomach twist. I hated him for being perfect for her. Hated him for filling the gaps I left. And yet, I knew he was better than me. Better than I had ever been. I tried again, words failing. I don't deserve to hear this, do I? You deserve to hear the truth, Mia said softly. But hearing it doesn't mean forgiveness. My voice faltered. I want to fight for you. She shook her head slowly. You fought for everything else, Ethan. You fought for your work, your pride, your ego. You didn't fight for me. Not when it mattered. I swallowed hard, shame pressing down. So, he's what I should have been? Her eyes softened a fraction. He's someone who showed up. You didn't. I wanted to crawl into the earth. To undo years. To stop being a fool. But she was right. Lucas had been there, consistently, when I had abandoned her. And the truth was clear. I had lost her in more ways than one. I whispered. I'm sorry. I failed you. Mia took a breath. I loved you, Ethan. I still do. In a memory kind of way. But I can't live in that memory anymore. I sat there, my hands shaking, my chest heavy. Silence stretched between us. Lucas didn't speak, just stood respectfully. I hated that he didn't have to fight for her, that he simply existed as the person I never could be. I'll try to be better, I murmured, even if it's too late. Mia looked at me one last time, eyes gentle but firm. I hope you do, Ethan, for yourself. I nodded, feeling emptiness I've never known. And in that emptiness, I finally understood. Some losses aren't meant to be fixed. Some truths aren't meant to be denied. I haven't slept properly in weeks. My apartment feels smaller every day. Every corner filled with memories I can't escape. I stare at my phone, scrolling through old messages, but they only make the silence louder. I used to think work could distract me. I was wrong, Ethan. A voice called, pulling me from my thoughts. Noah, my colleague, leaned against my desk. You've been staring at that screen for hours. What's going on with you? I'm fine, I muttered. But even I knew it was a lie. "No, you're not. Everyone's talking," he said. "Your performance is slipping. You're missing deadlines. You're distant." "I just have a lot on my mind," I replied, forcing a shrug. "Bullshit," he said sharply. "You're living in the past. You need to accept the truth and move on, Ethan. You're punishing yourself for something you can't change." "I can't just forget," I said, my voice tight. "Not when she's everywhere I look." "Everywhere?" he asked. "Yes," I whispered. "Every street, every cafe, every song on the radio. Everything reminds me of her." Noah shook his head. "You're letting regret kill you faster than heartbreak ever could. Regret hits harder, because you know you could have done things differently. And maybe you should have." I didn't answer. He was right, and it hurt. I wanted to yell, to scream, to tell him that understanding it didn't make it easier. It made it worse. Later that day, I walked through the city, trying to shake the thoughts, to drown them in the crowd. But then I saw them. Mia, Lucas, walking down the street, hands entwined, laughing softly. She looked peaceful, happy, and he looked at her like she was the only person in the world. I froze, my chest tightening. I wanted to run, to vanish, but I couldn't take my eyes off them. She smiled at something he said, the kind of smile I thought would only ever be for me. Noah's words echoed in my head. "You're punishing yourself." And I knew he was right. I was walking punishment. Every step I took, I carried the weight of my own mistakes. I swallowed hard and turned away. I couldn't watch them anymore. Every second was agony. I felt hollow, like a part of me had been ripped out and left on the sidewalk with them. Back at work, my desk felt smaller, suffocating. I typed emails mechanically, my mind elsewhere. My boss called me in. "Ethan, we need to talk about your performance," she said. "This is a warning. If things don't improve, there will be consequences." "Yes, I understand," I said, forcing my voice steady. I nodded and left, but her words echoed in my head. Warning. Everything was warning me. Warning me that I had no control over my life anymore. Later, Noah found me at my desk again. "You're punishing yourself," he said softly. "And it's not just at work. It's in everything you do. You have to stop obsessing over what you can't change." "I can't," I whispered. "Not when she's the reason I feel alive and dead at the same time. Not when I see her with him." "Then you need a new way to live," he said. "Not for her. Not for him. For you. Otherwise, this spiral will swallow you whole." I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell him he didn't understand. But I did. He was right. Every song I hear, every cafe I pass, every street corner, it all leads me back to her. Every memory reminds me that I was too late, that my choices cost me everything I wanted. I walked home that evening and past the park where we used to sit. Empty benches, empty swings. I closed my eyes and imagined her there, laughing at nothing, smiling at me. And then I imagined Lucas beside her. Protective, gentle, consistent, everything I wasn't. I clenched my fists. The pain wasn't just heartbreak. It was shame, guilt, regret. The punishment for my mistakes. I whispered her name into the evening air, hoping it would reach her somehow, even though I knew it wouldn't. This is my life now. A life that feels broken, scattered in pieces across memories I can't reclaim. A life where regret hits harder than heartbreak. And every step forward is a reminder that I lost the only person who truly mattered. I walk on, pretending the city is just another maze. But inside, I know the truth. I am paying for the life I wasted. And every glance at them reminds me, I am nothing without her. I was walking home late that night. The streets quiet except for the occasional hum of cars. I didn't plan to, but my feet led me past Lucas's building. something tugged at me. A mix of curiosity and that familiar, foolish hope that maybe I could fix what was broken. And then I heard it. His voice, low but sharp, echoing through an open window. "No! I told you, I can't. My company isn't ready for this." Lucas shouted. "What do you mean?" Another voice demanded over the phone. "The engagement is non-negotiable. Your family expects it." I know, he said, running a hand through his hair. "But the numbers don't add up, and the investors are pulling out. I can't let her know. Not now. She can't carry this burden too." I froze. His words sank like stones in my chest. His company, his perfect image, was cracking, and he was hiding it from Mia. I stepped back into the shadows, heart hammering. I wanted to warn her, to run to her and tell her the truth before she found out herself. But another voice in my head whispered, "Let it unfold. Let karma do the work." I walked on, haunted, but careful to remain unseen. I couldn't be the hero now. Not when I had already failed her once. The next morning, I noticed the change. Mia's smile was a little smaller, her eyes a little darker. She was moving faster, talking less, and her laughter, when it came, sounded forced. "Hey," I said softly when our paths crossed outside a cafe. "You okay?" She glanced at me, gave a faint nod. "I'm fine." "No, you're not," I said, almost bitterly. "You don't look fine." "I said I'm fine, Ethan," she replied, tone clipped. I clenched my fists and turned away. I wanted to tell her everything, but I couldn't. I couldn't step in. Not yet. Not when the damage had to happen naturally. Karma was already at work, and I wasn't about to ruin it. Later that afternoon, Ava appeared. Her timing was impeccable, as always. "You're here again," she said, folding her arms. "Why? To watch her crumble?" "I'm not here to watch anyone crumble," I said calmly, though my stomach churned. "Really?" she asked, arching an eyebrow. "You're standing on the sidelines, smiling like you're better than everyone. You have no right to be her hero now. You lost that." "I don't want to be her hero," I said firmly. "I'm not trying to save anyone. Not you, not Mia, not Lucas. I want to see the truth unfold without me ruining it." She stared at me like I was insane. "And what if she falls because of him? What if she hurts?" "Then she learns," I said softly. "And he learns. Both of them. I've already learned my lesson, Ava. I won't interfere." "I can't." Her lips pressed together, and she looked away. I knew she didn't agree. I didn't care. The days that followed were torture. I watched Mia's step slow, her smile falter, her hands tremble as she held her coffee. And Lucas, he carried on like nothing was wrong, but the strain was there if you looked closely. The late nights, the silent phone calls, the small sighs he didn't try to hide from me. I walked past them once, and she glanced at me. That fleeting moment, a second-long connection, made my chest ache. I wanted to tell her, "Watch closely, Mia. Watch him now." But I didn't. I stayed silent. I spent evenings replaying Lucas's argument in my head. The desperation in his voice. The weight he was hiding. Every fiber of me wanted to shout it, warn her, save her from the coming storm. But I stayed quiet. I had no right to step in. Karma was here, whether I participated or not. One evening, I passed their apartment again. Lucas was inside, pacing, muttering to himself. Mia was on the phone, her voice trembling, soft but laced with fear. "I don't understand," she whispered. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't anyone tell me?" "You wouldn't have handled it," Lucas's voice replied, sharp but weary. "I was trying to protect you. I didn't want to scare you. I didn't want this to break us before it had a chance." I swallowed, feeling my heart twist. Protecting her. After everything I had done wrong, Lucas had stepped in and done the thing I never could. The next day, news broke. Investors were pulling out. Lucas's company was failing publicly, and his family was furious. The engagement, once a perfect picture of stability, was under threat. Mia's world shook, and I watched from a distance, my chest tight, my hands trembling. I could have intervened. I could have run to her, explained, begged, tried to shield her from the fallout. But I didn't. I stayed in the shadows, letting the truth arrive naturally, letting karma unfold on its own. When Mia finally discovered the full story herself, I heard the confrontation from afar. Her voice was raw, her anger sharp, her disappointment palpable. Lucas tried to explain, to apologize, to fix what couldn't be fixed. And I stood there, watching silently. I hated him for what he had done and didn't do. I hated that he loved her enough to carry the weight I abandoned. And I hated myself for knowing that, deep down, I had done nothing wrong by staying silent. I had chosen the right path, however painful it was to watch. That night, I walked home under the streetlights, the city quiet. The wind was cold, but I didn't mind. Karma had arrived, and it wasn't my responsibility to fix it. My lesson had been learned years ago. I whispered her name into the night. She didn't hear me, and that was exactly how it should be. My phone vibrated on the table. The name flashing on the screen made my heart stop. Mia, I whispered, almost afraid to answer. Ethan, it's me. Her voice shook. Quiet, fragile, unguarded. Can we talk? Of course, I said immediately. My hands were trembling. Where are you? I'm at the park. By the fountain alone. I grabbed my jacket and ran. The streets blurred around me. When I arrived, she was sitting on the edge of the fountain, her shoulders trembling, hands clasped together. Mia, I said softly, kneeling beside her. Hey, what's wrong? She looked at me, and for the first time in months, I saw tears swimming in her eyes. It's Lucas, she said, voice barely audible. He hid things from me. I thought I could trust him. I thought I knew everything. But he didn't tell me the truth, and now I feel betrayed again. I stayed silent, letting her words sink in. Her pain was raw, and I couldn't fix it with my usual arrogance or excuses. I trusted him, Ethan, she whispered, the tears falling freely now. I thought he was different. I thought I could count on him to always be honest. I know, I said gently. My heart aches seeing her like this. I know you trusted him. She looked at me, eyes wide, searching for something. You always had honesty. Even when you were wrong, you told me the truth. I miss that. I miss you. I swallowed hard, the familiar pull of wanting to say I still love you, Mia gnawing at me. But I stopped myself. This wasn't about me. Mia, I said carefully, choosing each word. I'm not here to take advantage of this moment. I'm not here to make you doubt him, or feel worse. You deserve someone who gives you honesty, stability, and love every single day. Her mouth opened slightly, a gasp caught in her throat. Shock registered on her face, mixed with confusion. You mean that? I do, I said firmly. For once, I'm putting your feelings above mine. I'm telling you what you need, not what I want. She blinked, tears still streaming, and I reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face. You've been hurt too much. You deserve someone who doesn't hide the truth, someone who stands beside you, not just in the easy moments, but in everything. Someone who makes you feel safe, every day. Mia's hands trembled as she covered her face, shoulders shaking with sobs. I don't know if I can. You can, I said softly. You're stronger than you think, and you'll get through this. even if it means letting go of people who aren't ready to meet you where you are. Her eyes lifted to mine, filled with disbelief. This is the first time you've ever said something for me, not for you. I nodded. It's the first time I've done that, and maybe the first time I've grown up enough to mean it. I won't make this about me, Mia. I can't. Not anymore. She looked at me for a long moment, as if trying to absorb every word. The tears still flowed, but there was a shift in her expression. A flicker of understanding, maybe even relief. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Then don't say anything, I replied. Just breathe. Cry if you need to. Let it out. And remember, you deserve someone who will always choose you. A silence stretched between us, heavy but not painful. I realized this was the turning point. Not just for her, but for me. I had finally grown up. I could care for her without selfishness, without needing her love in return. She wiped her tears, still trembling. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for being honest, for once, for thinking about me. I'll always want the best for you, Mia, I said quietly. Even if that's not me. Her lips quivered in a small, grateful smile, the first real smile since the breakup. And in that moment, I knew I had made the choice to be someone better. Someone who could finally stand alone without needing her to lean on me. I stayed with her for a while longer, letting her cry, letting her talk, listening without judgment. And when I finally left, I walked away lighter, knowing I had done the right thing. For the first time, I wasn't the man who had lost her. I was the man who had learned to care, to let go, and to grow.